Can humans create systems that are as diverse or more, and as productive or more than nature? I think so. I'm gonna take this hedgerow for example. This hedgerow was originally planted as just a line of ash trees between two fields, and then because they've been taking hay out of these fields for decades, it stayed that way and it's filled in. Now it's full of gray dogwood, an awesome wildlife plant. Got really high fat berries for the birds in the fall. Nanny berry, another awesome food source. This tree I'm standing next to is chock full of apples that everyone will get to enjoy in a month or two. Just down the way there's a whole bunch of raspberries, and that's kind of just the shrub layer. And then into the canopy, all those ash have died and they've made room. There's maples and oaks, hickories coming up, and all that is being climbed on by grapevines, and it ends up just being an awesome, diverse, productive habitat that wouldn't really be here if it wasn't for human activity. This would probably either have all grown in as a forest, and the forest floor would be missing that shrub layer, or mostly missing it, or it would be a grassland if there's enough grazers around or enough fire suppression to keep the weeds away. So I love hedgerows. This is a boundary ecosystem, ecotone, which we know is the most diverse and productive area of an ecosystem generally, because it's got plants and animals that can live in sort of that woodland and the grassland, or if it was an ecotone for a lake or a river, it would be the water and the land. In any case, we're going to try to replicate this over and over on the farm. We're planting all of our orchards as big, giant hedgerows, and I'm really excited to see those start to fill in. The human's role in the ecosystem here in North America is the same as the elephant in a lot of the world. We're the disturbance species. We come in and knock over trees and make space for the sun to come and hit the ground and keep these grasslands productive. Savannas wouldn't exist in Africa, right, without those big megafauna that keep the trees down. Here it used to be humans setting fire, but now the tractor does it. So that's why I love hedgerows so much. It's a great example of where human disturbance, in this case taking hay out of these fields, actually is creating a super productive, diverse ecosystem. So that's why we decided to plant a lot of this farm to hedges. All of our orchards we've planted right now as hedgerows. This is a hazelnut orchard that we planted from seed. We've planted the hazelnuts about a foot apart in this area. Some of them we've done a meter, some of them we've done less than a foot, just to kind of see what we like the best. So what that's going to do is, first of all, this is going to grow in bushy very quickly. This is going to be a big shrubby hedge right away, which is awesome. But then two, we've got a lot of different genetics in here since we planted from seed, and the ones that we don't like we're just going to kill, or they're going to die on their own from diseases or whatever. We're only going to keep the ones that produce nuts the fastest, the biggest, fattest, yummiest nuts, and then in 10 years we're going to have site-specific genetics for the hazelnut orchard that we want right here in this ground, and that's pretty cool. So there's another ecotone that we're emulating here on the farm, and that's a riparian ecosystem, which is the boundary between an aquatic ecosystem and a terrestrial one. We've used the spoil of digging these wet trenches all throughout the field to make vegetable beds. We've got tomatoes in this greenhouse, and then out in front it's Three Sisters beds. And then in between all of it, it is just full of life. I couldn't imagine it would work this well. Just so many tadpoles today. It's pretty sweet. So yeah, it took a bit of work to dig all these trenches, and I definitely have got to let the weeding get away from me, but look at all the life it's supporting. We've got all these amphibians that are safe from fish. We've got insects, and we've got these aquatic arachnids and all kinds of cool stuff that, of course, was not here a year ago when this was just a field. And it just goes to show that these systems that humans set up are productive. I didn't come up with this idea. There's other cultures that have done similar things. And now we've got sunflowers, we've got squash, we've got corn growing in here. There's some beans hiding in there too. And all kind of in coordination with these natural systems. So you can make an argument here though. Are you really improving this area compared to what nature does? Or are you improving it compared to what original human ecosystem was here, which was the hayfield? And I think that's a very good argument. And it also brings us to the kind of complicated part of this whole video. Are humans separate from nature?
is there such thing as a human-made system, or is it all a natural system? And that's a great question. This is the bobolink. It's a threatened bird species throughout most of its range in North America. It used to occupy the grassy savannas of old that don't really exist anymore. So now it lives in the hayfields. But if you think about it, what were those savannas doing in North America before? After the mammoths were gone, it was the humans who were clearing those savannas. They were burning the land and keeping that ecosystem available for this bird. We're the mammoths, we're the elephants, we're the beavers, we're that disturbance species that keeps nature productive, that restarts succession and makes these big open areas and those ecotones that we're looking for. So now we're all too aware of the more systemic disturbances humans are causing throughout the world. The one we focus on here is invasive species. So to create our productive, diverse ecosystems, we really need to focus on getting rid of this buckthorn, honeysuckle, multiflora rose, and the like. These plants have an unfair advantage. They have no insect predators, no mammal predators. They are beating out our natives, not because they're better plants, not because they're filling a niche that needs to be filled. It's because they have no competition, and that's it.
Another way humans can contribute to a more productive and diverse ecosystem is through wildlife restoration projects. So our forest is being overrun by buckthorn. This stuff is super aggressive and needs to go. And in its place, we've planted here some shagbark hickories in these tubes, and actually the stakes we used for the tubes were some willows that are also growing. So there we go. We got two trees for the price of one on that one. But when we talk about productivity, in this case, we're talking about for ecosystem services. So if you take a close look at these buckthorn leaves, you'll notice that there's hardly any pest damage on it at all. Bugs do not know how to eat this thing. And the birds eat the berries, but the berries are very low. There's low nutrients, there's no fat in them, unlike our dogwood berries that we were talking about earlier. So this plant is not productive at all. On the other hand, shagbark hickories, they'll produce tons and tons of nuts. This whole thing will be a carpet when these are mature on mast years. And they'll provide more food than the forest can even handle. And willows are one of the earliest pollen sources for our bugs around here. So there you go. Rip out some buckthorn and plant something better.
So can humans create systems that are more diverse and more productive than what nature can create? Yes. In that, if you remove any keystone species from its ecosystem, that ecosystem will collapse. Humans are more than just the disturbance species. We're also the gardeners. We've been planting forests and whole landscapes for millennia. And ignoring that role is to ignore our role within nature. We need more gardeners now than ever, since our invasive species are taking over those landscapes that we've created. We need more people growing oak trees. We need more people tearing out invasives. We need to continue shaping nature, just as it has shaped us throughout our entire existence.